Hi, good morning. Linda Fussell here, and this is the update for Thursday the 2nd, which is day 10 in lockdown in the UK. And yes, it's Friday morning. I had another fairly late night last night, so I didn't record any thoughts last night before I shut down for the evening. I thought about doing one in the afternoon actually, and then decided I would wait until after we had book club. So book club yesterday was the first time we've had or held a book club online, and it was really interesting. There's 8, 19, 11 of us in the book club, and there's most months we get together once every 5 or 6 weeks depending on how long the book is, and most months there's somebody missing for a variety of reasons. And yesterday we had everybody. Not everybody had read the book, but everybody was present, and it was just lovely to connect. The special things that came out of that for me was this group of lasses. Very few of them are used to doing online video conferencing, and so we use Zoom, and it was the first time some of those ladies had seen anybody outside of their household to actually talk to. Some of them live in remote places and therefore just don't see others, because if you're staying in, apart from going shopping, and if you're getting your shopping delivered, then they're just not having any contact at all. And others, whilst they're getting out and about and getting involved in community activities, have been struggling. And I think it was probably the first time that they were able to go, yeah, it's been tough. And they just enjoyed it. It was lovely. It was so lovely to connect with them. I know we had the coffee morning on Sunday, and so we had a similar situation there where people aren't used to using Zoom and then experienced it, and it was okay. So we're definitely set up to do this going forward, and possibly just to have a little wine and nibbles evening along the way as well, just to keep everybody's spirits up. So it is God, what's going on with my throat this morning? Sorry about that. So it's been that was really special, and it's lovely just to connect with friends and just help each other. You know, ITV's got this Get Britain Talking campaign, which is fantastic, and more than ever we need to be talking. We need to keep talking. We need to engage, even at a distance, definitely remotely. You know, we can use video conferencing, we can use video chat, whether it's, you know, FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or WhatsApp video or Messenger video. There's so many different ways these days. Fortunately, we've got all these options and ways of doing things differently. So definitely a time to be looking at how to connect and what you can set up. And then I spent a couple of hours in the morning on another Zoom call with the lovely Jo Thackeray, and that was just amazing. We'd planned to do a walk. When we set it up a while back, we were going to go for a walk, and it was going to be recording another radio interview. So this will be the third one I've done with Jo, which is just lovely. She's such a special person, and it's great to connect. So we planned to do a walk. We then thought we would try and do the walk using Zoom and be in our own, on our own walks, but still doing the interview. We set off and tried that, and then it started raining at my end, which meant I didn't actually want my phone out in the rain. But also it was quite windy yesterday, and wind on microphones is not a great sound, so we gave that up. Didn't continue with that. Finished a short walk, and then rushed home and joined up. Got a cup of tea and sat down and joined up, and we did the interview. We had a good chat about a lot of things. Even when we were walking, put the phones in the pocket. I put my phone in the pocket, and we just continued chatting about various things. And then we did some strategy sessions, or strategy planning for some sessions that we're going to be running over the next couple of weeks together. And we just did a bit of mental health check-in really for each other, just helping each other through some stuff, and basically just connecting. At the end of the day, it was 2 hours that we spent together, and we had diarised 2 hours, so it wasn't that we had overrun. We had diarised 2 hours, and we used every bit of that and had an absolute. It was really good. It was really special, and it was really enjoyable. Really good connection. So you can do it. You can connect with people even at a distance. And then I had a couple of other meetings actually over the last couple of days, which have been fantastic. New clients, new potential clients, just connecting with people. I've offered free connections with me. Normally you can get a free discovery call, but now I'm offering basically free sessions. You can come and have a chat and just engage. And so I've done a couple of those, which has been great. And connecting with other people that I've known for a long time but maybe not connected with, just checking in, seeing how they're doing, and I always like doing that. And then I met up with another lady who I was introduced to via somebody I met at a networking event. There you go, a whole long story. That's why networking is important, because you never know who you're going to meet and how you're going to connect and what you're going to be able to offer each other, and how you can share stuff. So I've had fabulous connections and done all sorts of things. It's been, I think I said on Tuesday that real danger of overwhelm from my perspective of all the stuff that's online. But then looking at some of the connections I had yesterday, I think there's a real danger of people just not knowing where to go and what to look at and what to engage with. So one of the things that did come up with, and I really think is important, is if you're working from home, is make sure you're taking breaks, taking time out. One of the lasses who's not used to working from home was saying that she just sits for ages and she really misses the water cooler chats. Make sure you get up from your desk, get up frequently, and I've said this before, in between just have a stretch, every 20 minutes have a stretch and a yawn, and really energize and revitalize your body. It's important, and move, every hour move. So that's for people that are working at home, and you can do the water cooler chats. There's lots of instant messaging groups or instant messaging ways of connecting in companies. So if you're using Microsoft Teams or whatever, you can do that. But even on Zoom, you've got the chat, or just on WhatsApp, whatever. Just make sure you're checking in and chatting with people. And maybe schedule having lunch together or a cup of tea. So, put some time in the diary, 15 minutes at, at 11 o'clock or whatever, and connect with some of your colleagues and just have a cup of tea. So that's just a couple of little tips for people that are working from home. And then for those that are at home and finding it really tough because they're not sure what to do with their time, all the cupboards are now cleaned, everything's kind of been done, and they're going a bit stir crazy. Find something that you're curious about. Just explore what might interest you, things that might have interested you in the past that you're not sure you'd forgotten about, or you haven't had time to look at, or haven't really thought about it. Don't look at the obstacles. Look at what interests you and what you might like to spend some time exploring. And once you've done that, then look at the how. So it's always start with the why. Is, yep, we're bored and we need to find something to do. And we really, at the end of this time period, whether it's unlikely to be 3 months, but whether it's unlikely to be 3 weeks, whether it's 3 months or 6 months or however long it's going to be, we don't want to get to the end of this time period and go, wow, what did I do in that? What did I do with all that time on my, that I had for me? How did I spend it? We really need to be focusing on the self-care, focusing on us, what we want, focusing on our connections and how we're engaging with people. I am going to do a webinar where I talk about some of the self-care things that you can think about, and I'll share details with that maybe later today, because today's Friday. Yeah, I think it's on today's schedule. But find something that is of interest, whether it's fixing old pottery, painting, doing anything, drawing, anything that might have interested you. I've definitely spending a lot more time with my photography and noticing nature, because that for me is my big interest. Find something that interests you and then go and see where you can access it. There are so many amazing videos that are shared on YouTube. There's specialist places where you can find things. There's so much information out there, things that you can learn, things that you can explore, and it doesn't all have to be in social media groups that people might not want to join. I know in the book club there's a few ladies that aren't on Facebook, for instance, because they just don't want to do that, which is great. That's fine, no problem at all. Which means that they're probably not on Instagram or TikTok or any of those things. So there's loads of platforms available to engage with, but it doesn't mean that everybody wants to engage with them. So things like just searching the internet, you can find things, but on YouTube, just amazing resources that are there. So go and look for them, go and find them, and see what inspires you, and find ways of doing things that you like doing. You can still get things delivered. There's lots of places that are delivering. Obviously some of the big ones that we all know about, I'm not going to mention them. And get the tools in that you need, or dust off some of the things you've probably got at home, maybe up in the loft, or I know I've got all sorts of things all over the place. If it's the colouring books, the mindful colouring books, maybe do those. If it's just drawing, sketching something, that's great. If it's just observing what's happening in the garden, and if you don't have a garden and you're interested in that, there are loads of webcams on various RSPB reserves and different places, and you can follow and engage with what's going on there. But likewise, if there's something that you want to explore or want to dig further into, find a book that's on it. So I've got on my website I've got a recommended reading list, books that I've found interesting from, and I'm going to split the categories up actually, because at the moment they're kind of all jumbled, but I was thinking about this the other day. It's not a priority, but I will do it. Splitting them into personal care, into personal development, self-care, business books, and obviously nutrition and food, sort of categories that they fall together in. But find something that interests you and read a book, and you can read it as a paperback, as a hardback, as a Kindle book, or you can listen to the audiobook. And I've been listening to our book club book was The Return of the Native, Thomas Hardy's book. It was great. Really enjoyed it, and I think as much as anything I hadn't started it when I got to the weekend, so it was a bit of a rush job, which tends to be my way, because I like to listen to books that are in my list and sort of have a few books on the go. But when it gets to book club time, then I've got to sit down, and I say sit down, I've got to focus on the book. So Return of the Native was a good way to escape actually from everything that's been happening day to day. It was just like a complete immersion for a few days. Every time that I wasn't working or I wasn't doing something else, I had the book going, and it was great. I had it, either on the speaker in the kitchen. I have it when I was having a bath at night. I'd have it there. When I was out walking or just pottering around in the house doing something, I'd have it on my headphones, just listening to it while I was doing things that didn't take brain power. So find things to read. Look for courses. There are so many courses, and this was, for me, was part of the overwhelm. There's just so many things being offered. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and lost in all the things are there. But if you first of all determine what it is you want to do, so you know why, because you want to find something to do, work out what it is, and then go and work out the how you're going to do that. And then the when and the where is kind of, well, where is wherever you are right now, and the when is, well, set yourself a schedule and get on with it and enjoy it. One of the best things about managing your day when we have all these days together, with our family at home, is routine. Routine is absolutely key. So put something into your routine that gives you time out to do the things that you want to do, and then get on and do it. Give yourself some fun. And just take time for you. This really is, I've mentioned before, this is a retreat time. I heard Jim Quick last night. Oh, the starlings are outside on the top of the hedge. It's really lovely. That's the thing, just notice what's there. So I was listening to Jim Quick. He did a live on Instagram yesterday. He does them every day, but I just managed to catch his one when it was live. And he was talking about cocooning. So I've talked about it as being a retreat into ourselves and just finding time with us. And he was talking about cocooning, and it is just creating that space and time to nurture you, for self-care, for self really, whether it's self-awareness, self-development, but it's definitely a lot of self-care and self-love. Just look after you. Take time to look after you. It is really, really important. We need to focus on our well-being before anything else. I think if nothing else has happened through this time, is that we are now really conscious of how fragile life can be, but also how important our health is and how to value our well-being. And health and well-being is not just the physical. It's also obviously the mental, emotional, spiritual. Take time to connect with whoever you want to connect with. There's the spiritual side, definitely. But just look after all of you. And as with nature and with, the seasons and the day, everything's in a cycle and in a rhythm. Get yourself into a rhythm and find that cycle that is inspiring you and looking after you, supporting you. So that's my musings after 10 days in lockdown. Wishing you lots of love and lots of joy as you settle into where you are. It is going to get better. This will all be over one day. It's what have you done with this time that you've got now. And from experience of doing 40-day challenges, day 16 can be a tough one. So we're on day 10. Even if you think you're over it and you're getting on with it, it's good. There's likely to be some challenges ahead, and that's okay. It's okay to have those challenges. What you have the option of is how you respond and react and what you decide to do with them, and that's where you have the choice. So think about your choices, think about how you're spending your time, think about what's important to you, and what you really want to do with this time out. This is like stepping out of the busy real world and into our own little retreat space. So find things that that you enjoy. Find things that are enjoyable for you and that are good for you. Take care, and I will check in with you again on Saturday. So have a good end of the week and into the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Find things that are fun and look after you.